back to this Zuckerberg story. I just thought it was funny because he's got tens of billions of dollars. And the story today on TMZ Sports is that his wife's annoyed that he built an octagon in the backyard, but you could see it from like the living room and kitchen windows. Like, there it is, boom, right in the, I'm sure he's got a huge property, but right there in the middle.
Honey,
I built an octagon.
Believe me, this is not a sexist comment at all. It really isn't. But when you're Mark Zuckerberg and you're providing probably a ridiculous lifestyle, can he do whatever he wants? He could build a zoo in his backyard if he wants to.
We built a zoo.
Without someone, as my dad would say, busting his chops about it.
Yeah, busting my chops.
I could see if it was a regular fella, okay? I really can. You're living a regular fella sort of life, and you're taking your MMA training serious.
Oh, well, you know what?
And you build an octagon in the backyard, and your wife is saying, hey, Hank, maybe you shouldn't do that. She has every right in the world to throw her opinion out there. But if you're Mark Zuckerberg, in my opinion, my humble opinion here, I say you tell her to beat it. Do what you want.
And you know what? To sound not sexist,
because
if it's a powerful woman and she's with a dude and the dude's telling her what to do, like let's say J-Lo wasn't with Ben Affleck when she was with Casper, or like, and he's like, J-Lo, like maybe you should. Casper, shut up. Like, I just think that there's a power dynamic sometimes, and let's be honest, that's the truth. And Zuckerberg getting yelled at for putting an octagon in the backyard. But it got me thinking, have you ever had one of these battles with the wifey or someone you dated where there was a legit, I don't want you displaying that. Don't put up that memorabilia. Don't do that in the yard. You might have said, honey, I want to put a putting green in the yard. And she's like, yeah, you're not doing that. And you're like, no, but I want to put a putting green in the yard. And she's like, yeah, that's just not going to happen. She comes home one day and you're in the backyard with your hands on your hips. Like, yeah, what do you think?
Well, that's when you just want some good support, right? You don't want people to bother you. That's why you got to be careful of who you end up with. You don't want to be with someone submissive that just goes along with all your stupid ideas. I get that. But you also don't want someone to stifle the fun. Like my buddy Nick said he's buying some property in Arizona, but he's buying it with the full-on intention, get this, to move in and make the majority portion of his backyard a wiffle ball field. Because it's always been. I know. That's but I mean, to us, we're like, yeah, man. Green Monster, bro, recreate it. Or whatever the case may be, right?
I doubt his partner has the same enthusiasm.
But
does she,
as far as I know, isn't giving him a hard time about it.
Yeah,
now that may sound silly to some, I get that. But if you're with somebody and that somebody will be happy if they have their wiffle ball field, then why would you want to ruin their happiness? That's the way I see it.
I go along with a lot of my wife's decorating ideas, and she never really stifles my ideas. But you're right. You have to be with someone that isn't a pushover, but isn't also shutting you down.
Yeah, they're going to be supportive, right?
Yeah.
Like, yo, if I knew that I can make my girlfriend happy by recreating a wiffle ball field, I would do it in a minute.
Danny, what level of memorabilia does it need to be for the average person to say, yeah, you could put that in a common area?
Wow. It's got to be signed, professionally framed, and it has to be something like a Super Bowl worn jersey.
Yeah, if you want something to be, I'm not saying no one should be putting this stuff in their living room, but if you want this somewhere in the house other than maybe like a man cave or office.
You know what jaded our perceptions way back on a Wednesday? Cribs. Cribs got in our head, and we're like, yeah, we want that set up somewhere in our home.
Rich, it still would need to be in a game room, though.
Yeah,
otherwise, our
right.
wives or girlfriends wouldn't have it.
Yeah, there's a couple things that I've acquired over the years, and now that my wife and I redid our garage and made it sort of a living space, I'm trying to think of just the right way to frame or case them. And I have a Mike Tyson autographed glove that's like, too rich, love Mike Tyson. And, we have a picture with him, so I'm like, should I put the picture of him and I with the glove in a little case or something? Yeah. And then Joe Montana, picture and autograph with him when we've met him. Like, I'm trying to think of some of my favorites, and I think
it has to be your Mount Rushmore.
Yeah, it's got to be. You can't just be like, I met Willie Randolph once. Here's a ball. I'm putting it on the. You can't.
Another thing I really liked about Kirk Cousins on the quarterback doc on Netflix, because he has
that secret room,
the memory room.
That is
Very
really
cool.
cool.
The coolest
yeah.
part about that is that, Ramos, did you watch that yet?
What's that?
The quarterback show?
I have not. I just started. I was watching that show on with Seth Rogen and Rose Byrne on
Platonic?
I've been watching that. So sorry.
What'd you think?
It's a little slow for me.
I
But
watched the first episode, and I'll be honest, I didn't watch the second because
Yeah.
I wasn't motivated.
Yeah.
But, I mean, Seth Rogen's in our intro. Sorry,
Ramos
Seth.
has a memory room, but it's all like Millennium Falcon, Yoda,
It is. I'll
Luke
tell you
Skywalker.
What, let me tell you, when we first got married, I had a room was all Star Wars.
I knew
had
it.
all my action figures, had everything, and then it became Sarah's room, and all my Star Wars went into the closet, and now they're all in the garage.
Oh, I got demoted to the garage.
yeah.
Did Suzanne make you get rid of your Star Wars bed sheets, though?
Yeah, well, we never had back. I was like 12 when I had
There
the
is
Star
a
Wars
compromise, though. Like, I remember Rich and I have been doing this show for a long time, right? Fox Sports Radio now for a few years. But I remember one guy called up with a friend in need, and he had this issue, and he said something about, like, he had this kegerator that his wife was giving him such a hard time about. And it's like, look, I know you're close to your beer funnel and your beer helmets and your kegerators or whatever, but like there are certain things you need to sacrifice, I think, to make your significant other happy.
Well, unless you have a big enough property in house and you've worked your butt off and you have the space.
And
but
to me, that's the Mark Zuckerberg story. To me, it's like, you're Mark Zuckerberg. You do whatever you want to do. You've provided that life for yourself and for whoever you're with.
the coolest part, though, Ramos, of the Kirk Cousins room that Danny G speaks of, when you watch this episode, it's a bookshelf. But it's like one of those, like, you push the bookshelf.
Yeah, he has a little
And
room.
it's like a room that doesn't
All his
even look.
trophies
It doesn't look like it
game
exists.
balls.
There's no window. It's like you push a bookshelf, and it's like a Batman type of
Like a bat
situation.
cave. It's a
Yeah,
bat
you do.
cave.
And he goes in there, and it's all these really cool things, like every game ball he's ever got, jerseys from elementary school, high school, pop water football, everything up until
For me, it was nice, not only because of the secret little room that every guy gets excited about having one day. It shows that he still cared about those little things. Those things still meant something to him. So, again, based on the Mark Zuckerberg Octagon in his backyard and his wife giving him a hard time about it, what are some of the compromises you've made? What's acceptable? What's not? 877-99 on Fox.
But you know what? We were talking about adults. You do everything for your kids. Like Ramos just said, his room of fun became his kids' room. Like you sacrifice all that stuff. What was once your, and think about what was
Ramos,
once your.
I feel like Ramos took 2 L's in that story, though. He went from a whole room to a closet.
To a
And then
box
they
in
were
the
like,
garage.
yeah, you had a closet? Nah, sorry. We're putting our shoes in there. And then he went into the garage.
double demotion.
You got sent down to Double A.
It's like you're broadcasting from storage room B.
Yeah,
at this point.
now he's playing for the Savannah Bananas.
Dude, like you got kicked out twice.
But no, like I was thinking
Yoda's
about,
like, why? What did I do?
I was thinking about how before you have kids, and it's like you could say the same thing. Your living room is all pristine. You had nice pillows and a candle's
Right,
lit.
right.
And
Yeah, you do it for your family.
You and your wife are just sitting there chilling. Then you have kids. And you're like, what? There's a princess tent in my living room.
Yeah,
it happens.
It happens.
And you realize that too. Like, I mean, it's fun to have a basketball hoop in the driveway, but it's not the nicest. It's not. It's a little bit of an eyesore. But if you have kids, guess what? You're probably gonna have a basketball hoop in the driveway.
So can we say, just for the sake of conversation, Rich, that yes, there's a lot of compromises that you make, and you'll do anything for your family and anything to make your significant other happy. But there's also times where what you're requesting is absolutely fair. And we've established that. If it's mounted, if it's one of your core 4 athletes, someone in your Mount Rushmore, and it's autographed, it's game worn, or you're Mark Zuckerberg and you probably have plenty of land where it's not a big deal.
He should say, go on social media and complain about it. Oh yeah, I own all of it.
Exactly. That's what I mean.
Did it say in the article why he has it? Like, is he going to hold contests there? Or is it just for him personally to go in there and wrestle with people?
Well,
or?
he's taking his training serious.
Okay,
I know that.
so it's
Remember there
training type stuff. Okay.
Yeah, there was a lot of speculation that he was going to fight Elon Musk because he trains. He's winning medals. He's taking the sport serious. Probably has fun roughhousing with his buds.
Why in the yard, though?
Where else is he going to put it?
I know what you're saying. Like,
Sure, he's got a mansion.
did you see the house? Not to get off tangent, but did you see the specs of the house that J-Lo and Ben Affleck bought? They had a gym with a ring in it. They had like part of like I was looking at like wow, I wonder what J-Lo and Ben live like. It was some absurd number of bathrooms and
boxing
rooms.
ring?
They have a gym in their house with an indoor pool and a ring.
Wow.
There's like
I missed that.
And
That's
they're
awesome.
and they're like pores compared to Mark Zuckerberg.
Yeah, compared to Mark Zuckerberg, they're paupers living in Skid Row.
Paupers.
They're
That's why
serfs.
him getting bothered or harassed for this is unnecessary.
Which one of you said eyesore?
I did, yeah.
I heard that so much as a little kid because if somebody in your family offered to give you a boat, but it needed work, it needed to be fixed up.
All of a sudden, you have a boat in your driveway.
My stepdad took a boat, I think from his brother, and it was rusted. It wasn't a big boat. It was one on a small trailer. He parks it in the backyard, and we had alleys in Rialto, California, so you could kind of see into the back of people's yards when you're driving past. And my mom, for years, get that eyesore out of the backyard. And he had the same story. Oh, I'm going to fix it up. I'm going to fix that
That's
boat
like
up.
every guy that has a crappy old car or boat in his driveway on a trailer, and his wife's like, would you get that out of here, Hank? I'm going to fix it up. You'll see. You're not fixing it up.
Oh, he never did. He wound up selling it for like $200.
Oh, man. Hey, let's take a few phone calls, and then in a few minutes we're going to get to Midweek Major. Spot's got all the stories in pop culture, sports, and entertainment. We'll go over that stuff. But Danny G getting the phones lined up at 877-99 on Fox. But just a reminder, be with someone, and again, we're no relationship experts, but a little bit we are. Be with someone that doesn't bust your chops, but also be with someone that's not a pushover. I know it's a hard balance, but you never want to be with someone that's like, you can't hang up your Dan Marino jersey anywhere.
Well, I'm actually dealing with this battle, too, and here's what I was told. Not only the TV mounting, right? I wanted to hang up a few autographed guitars.
Covino's worked in rock music.
Right?
Dave Grohl, Slash. Like, we're talking big, like, Covino's met all these guys. I'll brag for you.
Yeah.
And he has, like, nice signed autographs. Where do those go in a house?
And my girlfriend said, no, because you just want this place to look like a Hard Rock Cafe. And I'm like, yeah, you're right. I do. What's wrong with that? You just want it to look like the Hard Rock Casino. You kind of. What's wrong? That's cool to me.
Are you going to serve Tupelo chicken tenders at your place?
So you know where they are right now, my guitars? In the closet. So you know where they're going to end up? In the garage, like Ramos' Star Wars room. So let's go to the phones. 877-99 on Fox. You know what? Here's to wrap my side of it up.
When your girlfriend
No,
goes
you
on a
just
little
do it-
trip with her girlfriends,
That's it.
do it and be like, what do you think?
That's it. You just sometimes you just got to do it.
What
And
do they
then
say? Ask for forgiveness. It's better to ask for forgiveness than ask for permission.
That's it. That's really it. You're not hurting anybody, right?
What do you think? Cliff in Kentucky, you're on with Covino and Rich. Thanks for hanging with us, buddy.
No problem. Thanks, guys. Mine's not a sports memorabilia, but to make the long story short, in 1992, I got my right arm ripped off. The only thing they saved out of it was the hand, and they asked my wife if she wanted the hand at the hospital, and she told them no. When she got with me about it, I said, why didn't you keep the hand? We could have put it on the mantle or something. It would have been a conversation piece.
Oh my God, Cliff, I'm sorry you lost your hand, but if that's the case, I would have absolutely kept that.
You
could
didn't
have
lose it.
You could have, like,
He gave it away.
yeah, his wife's like, yeah, just take it. Imagine that. You're like, oh, you go to Cliff's house, and on this mantle, it's like a picture like Christmas 2012.
Why
and
couldn't he keep
Cliff's
it and just
hand?
put it somewhere, though? I would have wanted. Yeah, I'm with him. I would have wanted it. That's
Stuffed
my
it.
body part.
Stuff it.
I mean, he
Is it-
could have kept it in the closet somewhere or something.
Could have brought it around as, what was it
I
from
mean, they've
Addams
kept,
Family?
according to legend, they've kept other parts of Rasputin.
Hand.
Look it up. You could have kept
do you
your
know
hand.
that? You know the legend of Rasputin? They have his junk in a jar. True story. Jesse
It
in
was also
Texas.
impossible to kill, but yes, it's junk's in the jar.
Look it up.
Took a lot to do it.
By the
You're
way,
right.
when you're bored later and you're alone, Google it, and you're gonna be like, "No way."
That was actually part of what they tried to kill him.
Let's go to Jesse, Texas. What's up, bud? Jesse, Texas.
He gone.
He gone.
Thinking about Rasputin.
Rasputin had a Louisville
okay.
Slugger.
He's got an Easton Big Barrel. Tim, Vegas. What's going on?
What's going on?
Hey, what's going on? I was listening to what you guys were talking about, and I'm a retired police officer, and they give you a shadow box and your awards. So it's kind of cool.
Yeah.
I like
So I
that.
put it on the shelf of my house, and I came home one day, and it's in the bathroom.
Dude,
Yeah, man, that's so
you
wrong.
protected and served,
It's
and thank
who
you, Tim.
Are. Thank you very much. To me, I look at that like that's who you are. And what does a woman do? Not to disparage.
Here you go.
But they'll take a picture of you and her. Rich, don't you have that classic story?
I have a classic story. I have one of my exes. We had a picture front and center on like the mantle, like right by the fireplace. And my head was half cut off. But she's like, I look hot in it. They don't care about you.
Half a Rich's head. Half a Rich's head. So she probably took like this commemorative microphone that Rich had there to commemorate what he does for his career.
Put my like radio award in the basement, but it's
radio award goes in the bathroom.
Yeah.
That picture right there, front and center.
Tim, you're on. Oh, we just talked to Tim. Let's go to Andres. Andres, you're on with Covino and Rich. What's up, buddy?
Hey, how's it going?
We're good, man. Thanks for listening, bud.
Hey, thanks. Just listening to you guys, and with Zuckerberg, and as a husband, I just got to say, she's not saying to him, "You can't have the ring." She's saying, "Just keep it out where I can't see it from the kitchen." I think that's pretty reasonable. The guy has all the money in the world.
That is true. I'll tell you what. I'm sort of with my kids' toys and stuff, I'm the annoying guy. Like my kids. Yesterday, my kids were playing in the yard, and I love that they were playing outside. They're not on their iPads. They were in a water gun fight on the side of the yard, and they had a little picnic table, and they were doing like water fights. But they didn't clean up, and I was the guy out there last night, like, oh, God, kids won't clean up your damn toys, and I'm like, you're gonna ruin my lawn.
I think that would be a reasonable request for any other man.
I don't want to see it.
When you've taken your life and your career to the levels this guy's taken his life, you don't want to have anyone bother you about anything. That's what I would imagine. If I'm able to take my career to those heights, you think I want to sign up for any sort of like anyone bothering me about anything?
Imagine if like Tom Brady and his new relationship, Irina Shaykh's like, yeah, these Super Bowl jerseys. Can we move them?
That's part of it. No, especially when you've been through other failed relationships where people haggled you. You're like, yeah, I don't want to be haggled about anything. I have that mindset now.